So my eyeline's going to be bad this whole video. There's a teleprompter there. It is what it is, you know? Hi, so Godzilla King of the Monsters is a Christian movie. I mean, he's called Godzilla. What more proof do you need? Oh, more than that, huh? Now this channel will return to its regular programming shortly, but I just wanted to talk about this for years. I noticed this on first viewing, Googled it, saw no one else talk about it except on one Christian website that's all about, is this movie safe for Christian faith and children and all that, which is a surprisingly in-depth understanding of themes for a website I would have assumed didn't know what a metaphor was. And it was mostly about, hey, you can use this film to talk about religion with your kids. Then I watched it a second time and was like, no, this is a Christian movie. And it has haunted me ever since. I did check just before making this video, and some other people have talked about it, like mostly on like vague Reddit posts and whatnot, without much traction anywhere, because I feel like it's relevant. I'm not a Christian, born outside of religion, never baptized, so on and so forth. So this isn't a case of me trying to force my faith into media I watch. I knew a guy that was like that. It was really fucking annoying. He kept trying to convince me that the Christian God made the Pokemon universe. It's clearly Arceus. Arceus? I don't fucking care, I don't play Pokemon. Also, if you're listening to me say all that and then have noticed the Quran next to me, that was for research for a different video. That is on this channel, yeah. Now, to preface, co-writer and director and massive Godzilla fan, Michael Dougherty was, according to Wikipedia, raised Catholic, which normally means nothing. But when you're arguing that this film uses religious parallel, it is important information. Also was a writer on X-Men 2, co-written by Solid Snake. Is this information relevant? No. Is it interesting? Eh. So it's not like this was directed by someone with zero awareness of religious symbolism, is my point. Now the basic gist of this video is just proving that this film is just revelation. So I'm mostly gonna break this down in chronological order, and I'm gonna have plenty of scenes from the film in this. It's not just gonna be me standing in front of a lot of Warhammer for a whole video. Don't worry, it's not just me. And if you're wondering why it's very slow, or there's a lot of cuts, it's because my teleprompter is really slow, because I'm not good at reading from a teleprompter. Firstly, the film tells us pretty quickly that environmentally, the oceans aren't going too hot. There's mass die-offs in the seas. Good thing that's only fiction.
The recent spike in mass die-offs in the world's oceans could be caused by efforts to locate and track Godzilla, who hasn't been seen in over 5 years.
Also, fun fact, nothing to do with this video, just realized while watching it, Tony's cabin from Endgame. We have Ghidorah, frozen in ice, mimicking Inferno, where Satan, who is Ghidorah by the way, spoilers, we'll get to that, there is frozen in a lake in the final circle of hell. He has 3 faces chewing on the 3 betrayers. You could also make a reading of the eco-terrorist's false belief in Ghidorah will restore natural order to the world, picking the false prophet from Revelation, but they also kind of just like fumbled into that one and then just went, oh fuck it, we ball I guess. The false prophet from Revelation is one of the 3 beasts, the other being the Antichrist and Satan, which, as we know, is Ghidorah. Godzilla being Christ and Ghidorah being the inverse could also fulfill the Antichrist role, 3 beasts, 1 for each head, but that's a stretch and creative interpretation as opposed to Satan, which is fact. We'll get there. Be patient. But also we'll get a bit into he also fills the Antichrist role. Several points within the movie. We even have a scene where the film explicitly states that Ghidorah is Satan, or rather, the origin of the concept of evil in human culture.
I've been scouring through thousands of years of myths and legends, but it's almost as if people were scared to even write about it.
As if it is meant to be forgotten.
So even showing the Great Red Dragon in the background. You know, the Great Red Dragon and the woman clothed with the sun. By William Blake, which, if that's familiar to you, it's the same one from the book / movie / TV show, The Red Dragon. You know, Hannibal. And also this movie. Which is a depiction of Satan from Revelation. We also have the Archangel Michael piercing the dragon, appearing when Ghidorah is first described to the audience, and Mark, as an audience surrogate. Unrelated to the theme of this video, but did you know that Dr. Rick Stanton is loosely based on Rick from Rick and Mortimer? I knew that going into the movie, and like, I guess, but it also feels very of the time. Like, hey kids, you like Rick and Morty? Come watch our monster movie. It has Rick in it, kinda.
Dr. Brooks was right. It's a hollow earth.
Now, during the Ghidorah awakening scene, we see a fiery pit in the ground, which then transitions into a dark abyss, mimicking an emergence from hell. Snake motif! We have a whole environmental monologue about end times and waking up titans to bring about paradise on Earth, literally talking about returning state to where humanity lives in peace and balance with, and I quote, the first gods.
Humans have been the dominant species for thousands of years, and look what's happened. Overpopulation, pollution, war. The mass extinction we feared has already begun, and we are the cause. Just like how a forest fire replenishes the soil or how a volcano creates new land, we have seen signs that these creatures will do the same. San Francisco, Las Vegas, wherever the Titans go, life follows, triggered by their radiation. They are the only thing that can reverse the destruction that we started. They are the only guarantee that life will carry on. But for that to happen, we must set them free. We will return to a natural order, a forgotten order where we coexisted in balance with the Titans, the first gods.
You know, just like living in peace in Eden with God. I fucking love the cinematography of this film, man. Just gonna add this here. Feel like it speaks for itself.
We must keep our faith in Godzilla.
We have the scene in Mexico where Ghidorah fights Godzilla and they're both subsequently killed by the oxygen destroyer. However, we find out that Godzilla, Christ, is killed by man because he is 100% born of Earth. A god who is 100% proverbially human. Ghidorah, however, is unharmed because he's an alien from space, aka a falling star that crashed into Earth, like Lucifer.
Come on, big guy, fight it.
He's gone.
Looks like you got yours, Mark.
Now, at this point in the film, Ghidorah emerges from the sea, like the beast of the sea, lands on a fiery volcano, and heals his head. Much like how the Antichrist, the beast of the sea in Revelation, will heal a fatal head wound. Causing those to worship it, like Rodan, who proceeds to bow to Ghidorah. Which does mean you could, in theory, read Rodan as the false prophet beast. As I said, those having an exact one-to-one parallels is a stretch. Then, if the film couldn't get more on the nose, which it will, Ghidorah hits the exact pose from the Great Red Dragon. Then, while Ghidorah is hitting the Satan pose, we get a shot framing Ghidorah Satan in the distance and a cross in the foreground. as if to say the only thing that could oppose Ghidorah is Christ himself. Godzilla! Adding to the whole Ghidorah is the Antichrist and Satan, he's even referred to explicitly as a false king.
Well, he looks vaguely familiar.
It tells of a great dragon who fell from the stars. A hydra whose storm swallowed both men and gods alike.
Well, you mean an alien?
Yes, he's not part of our natural order, and he's not meant to be here.
A false king.
And Ghidorah is then using the Titans to destroy the planet in the absence of Godzilla. You know, Satan winning the battle against God and getting, like, you know, unrestricted access to do whatever on Earth. Bring back to the theme of the channel, like Trench Crusade.
That could explain how he's creating these massive storms and the effect he's having on the other Titans. It's almost like he's reshaping the planet to his own liking.
Moscow, London, Washington, D.C., all under attack. On every continent, the Titans are triggering earthquakes, wildfires, tsunamis, and disasters we don't even have names for yet.
And this Ghidorah is the new alpha, and all the other creatures are just doing his bidding. They're an extension of him.
Then they have the whole conversation of how do we defeat Satan? Only Jesus could do that, and they killed him.
We stop him. We stop them all.
Is there another creature that might stand a chance against him?
No. Ghidorah and Godzilla's rivalry was ancient and unique.
Right, so we killed our best shot at beating this thing?
Then they realize they have to put their faith in Godzilla, who died for them to bring him back to life.
How many nukes do you have? Why? We could help him.
You ain't hear him, Griffin? They want to bring Godzilla back from the dead.
And he will have the power to defeat Satan. So they head down to Atlantis, led to Godzilla by Mothra. I fucking love the cinematography of this film, man. Now, Mothra is really an angelic figure. You could even take it as part of the Godhead. I think in that scene it's sort of mimicking the words blanking on me because, again, I'm not religious. The Star of Bethlehem that, you know, led the three kings to the birth of Christ, the birth of Jesus. There's a glowing light, and they follow that glowing light, and then Godzilla's at the end of that light. You could even take it as part of the Godhead, whether she is God or the Holy Spirit, and lean more to the Holy Spirit side of things, with the King of the Monsters and the Queen of the Monsters, like with all metaphor, it doesn't line up one-to-one, that being its binity rather than a trinity. Also, binity is a very dumb word. Anyway, the nuke that they were going to detonate in Godzilla's face breaks and has to be manually detonated. So Ken Watanabe has a line about how Godzilla sacrificed himself for them.
He fought for us, died for us. He is not only proof that coexistence is possible. He is the key to it.
And then dies in a fiery explosion in a moment of religious martyrdom.
Saraba. 정말.
Then the rest of the movie happens. Neither here nor there as far as religious allegories go, but for the most part, at this point, giant monsters fighting. You know, why you came to this movie. Kind of like how Godzilla vs. Kong is the best movie ever made, but that's beside the point. Snake motif! But we get to the end of the movie, Godzilla having been powered up by Ken Watanabe, and then secondly powered up by the sacrifice of Mothra, defender of humanity, and becomes Burning Godzilla, who I met. Turns out I'm not in the picture with Burning Godzilla, so here's a picture with me after I met Godzilla 1950s reboot Godzilla. So here's a thing that I sort of missed while watching the film again, but noticed in the editing room. Godzilla here, first attack, burns off Ghidorah's wings. You know, like burning off the wings of a fallen angel, but also burning Godzilla fulfills the vision of Christ in Revelation, like the visual appearance of Christ in Revelation. This is from Revelation 1:14 to onwards, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and coming out of his mouth was a sharp, double-edged sword. His face like the sun shining in all its brilliance. Defeat Satan once and for all, Satan being cast into a lake of fire, alongside the false prophet. Rather abruptly, mind you, that's Revelation, it just kind of happens. And Ghidorah being burned the fuck up by flaming blasts. And then, fiery atomic breath. And Satan is gone forever, until he takes over Mechagodzilla in the greatest movie ever made. Then, much like Revelation, ushers the world into a paradise. Nature begins healing, and life on Earth just gets so much better for everyone until they ignore that in future movies because continuity is hard and you need to make an entire TV show to address continuity issues. But the world literally becomes a paradise led by the resurrected Jesus/Godzilla. Mark, the main guy, even goes through a personal born-again moment when he, after experiencing the loss of his son, grows to hate Godzilla Jesus and wants him dead. But after an experience in which he sees him, begins to slowly have faith in Godzilla, and by the end of the film, firmly supports Godzilla.
How many nukes do you have? Why? We could help him.
You told me 5 years ago I'd be trying to save the thing that took my son. That would be the only way to save the family I have left.
Sometimes, the only way to heal our wounds is to make peace with the demons who created them.
You really believe that?
Don't you? Isn't that why you are here? There's some things beyond our understanding, Mark. We must accept them and learn from them. Because these moments of crisis are also potential moments of faith. A time when we either come together or fall apart. Nature always has a wheel balancing itself. The only question is, what part will we play?
Anyway, that's my thesis and my evidence, and all I have left to say is if you watch this and went, man, Godzilla is Jesus, that's my cue to convert to Christianity. Like that one guy that played after the end in Crusader Kings and then converted to Mormonism. Don't. And if you are religious, get your church to screen Godzilla on Sunday. Make it a whole thing. Whole church event, everyone gets together to watch Godzilla. It's a Christian movie. Also, if you watch this and have never seen me before and gone, man, I really want to subscribe to learn about film themes. Don't. That's not what this channel's about. It's mostly a Warhammer channel. Apparently I just decide to make weird videos every April Fools. Last year I made one on the Swingline Stabler. So if you want to get more of this, this isn't the place. If you want to learn more about Warhammer and Trench Crusade when I could be bothered to do a deeper dive into everything they've done recently, which I do keep an eye on, subscribe. Anyway, bye.